Hello everyone and welcome back to the Colorado Rockies franchise. In the last episode, we got through the draft and the trade deadline, got to see our draft picks and make some trades, and the Rockies are now 47 and 63. We have basically no chance of making the playoffs. In fact, here is a look at the standings. In the NL wild card, we are 13 games back, so we're basically done for the year. The Dodgers lead the way in the NL West. They are 9-1 in their last 10. In the NL Central, it's the Brewers at 60 and 49, but this division is still very close. In the NL East, it's the Braves and the Phillies tied up at 65 and 45, and they're miles ahead of everyone else. In the AL East, it's the Blue Jays at 65 and 46. They have won 4 straight. The Orioles close behind. The Yankees, the Rays, and the Red Sox all reasonably within reach of the wild card. In the Central, it's the Guardians at 60 and 51. The Twins are 59 and 53, only a game and a half back. Royals aren't necessarily out of it, but the White Sox and the Tigers probably are. And in the AL West, it's the Astros at 69 and 41. The Rangers only 2.5 games back. The Mariners, the Angels, and the Athletics really not in contention for the division, but the AL wildcard looks like this. The Rangers, the Twins, and the Orioles. The Yankees a game back, the Rays 2 games back, and the Mariners 3.5 games back. Interestingly, though, we do not have the worst record in our division. That honor goes to the Giants. Last episode, we also sent Chase Dollander down because he was really struggling in his MLB debuts. A 1.9 whip, a 9.8 ERA, with a 6.7 FIP. His AAA stats are much better on the year, so let's let him continue to grow down there. So instead, we've brought up Satchel Paige, and we also traded away Glenn Otto and traded for Johan Oviedo. Oviedo actually a relief pitcher, but he has very high stamina, and with the trade of Glenn Otto, I figured I'd make him a starting pitcher, and by changing him to a starting pitcher, he became an 81 overall. And he also has 2 more years of team control with arbitration. This might have been an absolute steal from the Pirates, who honestly just weren't using Oviedo the right way. I think that his real calling is being a starter. I wanted to show you guys the trades that happened. So of course there's our trades where we traded Glenn Otto for Samuel Basallo to the Orioles. The Giants made a trade acquiring Joe Jimenez. The Blue Jays got Cabrian Hayes from the Pirates for Tucker Toman, Miguel Geraldo, and Liam Mendez. The Rays get Danny Jansen from the Mets for Carson Williams and Michael Bridges, that third baseman with 98 potential. The Rays gave up a lot to get Danny Jansen. The Yankees get relief pitcher Mason Miller from the Athletics for Yorbit Vivas and Carlos LaGrange. That's kind of a big deal. That's the Yankees' new closer now, Mason Miller. He's obviously playing incredibly in real life, and he's really good in the game as well. We, of course, got Johan Oviedo. The Reds get Jose Siri from the Marlins for Don Sable and Tom Miranda. That's a third baseman that was in last year's draft class, Don Sable. The Rays got David Bednar from the Pirates. The Pirates really just seem to be blowing it up. It was a trade. That's how the Angels ended up with Ryan McMahon. They got him from the Pirates for Kyron Paris. James Paxton is now a Twin. Manuel Margot goes to the Mariners. And that's pretty much it for the trade deadline deals. I also wanted to show you guys player statistics, see who is doing well, see who isn't. Yanquiel Fernandez is leading in games played. In terms of home runs, Nolan Jones and Barry Cohen deadlocked at 18. Fernandez, the only other guy in double digits. Our RBI leader, surprisingly, is Ezequiel Tovar with 54. Stolen base leader, Nolan Jones with 16. Ahmed Rosario has a 311 average. Sterling Thompson is batting a 272. The guy is on fire recently. Look at his attribute increases. 6 against righties, 6 against lefties with power. Man, oh man. He just continues to get better. It's a shame that he can really only play the outfield other than third base. We also did probably just draft his replacement, and I was honestly considering playing Nolan Jones at third base next season to free up spots in the outfield, but man, if he's playing like this, it's hard to not play him. Nolan Jones with a 268. He is having a poor year in terms of average, at least based on his career averages, but does have a 373 OBP, Tovar 263 average, 308 OBP, Beck with a 314 OBP, Mejia with a 314. He has cooled off a lot though. Rogers with a 302, 251 average, Verdugo 246, 306, Fernandez 242 but a 310 OBP, Barry Cohen a 240 but with a 311 OBP. Montero has been fine at a 232 coming off the bench. So is Carson Kelly. Bouchard has not been great, but he has had a very small amount of at-bats. Ahmed Rosario actually leads the team in slugging percentage right now by 1 point over Nolan Jones, but Nolan Jones does lead in OPS. Nolan Jones has also walked the most times. That makes sense. Barry Cohen also has relatively high discipline. It makes sense that he's walked the second most. Fernandez with 36 is actually a decent number, but it looks like he has the most strikeouts with 100. Tovar leads the team with doubles with 24. Sterling Thompson with 23. Ahmed Rosario with 8 triples leads the team by double Yanquiel Fernandez. And in terms of fielding percentage, Bouchard, Beck, and Montero all with a 1,000 fielding percentage, but they don't play in the field a lot. Mejia's been really good. Verdugo's been good. Kelly has been good. And Tovar has been quite good. So is Fernandez with a 992. Nolan Jones leads the team in wins above replacement with 2.4. We've got 4 guys over 2. Those include Tovar, Mejia, and Rosario. Then it's a pretty steep drop all the way down to 1.3 at Brendan Rodgers. Sterling Thompson with a 1.2 WAR. He's been good this year. Verdugo with a 0.8, Cohen a 0.6, Fernandez a 0.2, Beck a 0.2, Kelly at an even 0, Bouchard negative, and Montero negative. But no like terrible wars here. Our team is evidently not great against righties because we don't have a single guy above 300 versus right-handed pitching, but we have 2 of them above 300 against lefties, including Brendan Rodgers, who's batting 362 against lefties. Wow, his contact has gone down by 2 against righties and up by 7 against lefties. I don't need another lefty masher on the team, Brendan. Let's balance this out. Here's everyone's average with runners in scoring position. Carson Kelly is batting a 412 with runners in scoring position. He only has 75 at bats, so it's a very small sample size. Montero is the second best, also a small sample size. We don't have anyone that plays a lot over a 265 or a 270 with runners in scoring position, which is bad. It kind of tells me that maybe we need to shake up the lineup a little bit. Sterling Thompson, with as well as he's playing and a near 330 OBP, which is one of the best on the team, I'm gonna let him bat leadoff against righties. We've been bad against righties, so I specifically want to change up this lineup. So this is a little strange, but here's what the right-handed batting order I think is gonna look like. Sterling Thompson is the leadoff guy while he is red hot. Jones batting number 2 again. I do this 1 because if Sterling Thompson is getting on base, he could maybe bat him home, but 2, Nolan Jones has 92 plate discipline, so he's gonna get on base a lot, which is why I've put our RBI leader, Ezekiel Tovar, at 3rd. He also has 78 batting clutch. So when Nolan Jones is in scoring position, the 78 takes over whatever his contact rating is, and 78 clutch is better than either of his 2 contact ratings. So I think this could be a huge boost for Tovar in his RBI numbers as well. I decided to swap Cohen and Fernandez. Cohen with all that additional power, I want him to be the cleanup guy, because if the first 3 guys get on base, Cohen is a lot more likely to hit a grand slam than Fernandez is. Plus he's got higher clutch, way higher power, higher vision. It's just kind of a no-brainer. Fernandez has been good all year. I think he absolutely deserves to bat 5th. Brendan Rodgers has been somewhat cold recently. He's also not great against righties in general, so I've got him further down the order. Verdugo is quite a bit better against righties. I'm actually going to go ahead and bump him over Rodgers. So it'll be Verdugo 6, Rodgers 7, Beck at 8, and then Mejia at 9. Mejia is not great against righties, but he's really good against lefties in terms of contact, at least. Interestingly, I'm noticing that Mejia has 71 clutch, so I'm actually going to put him over Beck. We seem to be playing really well against lefties in general, and Rosario continues to be incredible when he plays against lefties. Has a 311 average, 368 OBP, and he pretty much exclusively plays against lefties. Mejia, I think, needs to move though. His OBP and average has dropped pretty significantly since the start of the year, and we'll do something relatively similar again. Jones back in the 2 spot, Tovar up to the 3, Cohen the 4, Rodgers the 5, Yanquiel Fernandez in the 6, Mejia in the 7, Thompson 8, and Beck 9. Beck, by the way, actually pretty good against lefties with 60 contact and 66 power. So let's sim through this series against the Angels. That's another win, 6-1 over the Angels with the new lineup. Cal Cal Quantrill getting the dub. Here's how the lineup performed. 2 hits from Rosario, 3 from Nolan Jones, who hit 2 homers in today's game. Tovar alongside Beck did not get a hit. Fernandez got 4, including 2 RBIs. So a really great day from Yanquiel Fernandez and Nolan Jones, and really the team in general. Not only did Nolan have 3 hits and 3 RBIs, he also walked once, so getting on base. So we do lose the last game against the Angels, but we had won 3 straight heading into that, beating the Dodgers and then the Angels twice. That was a loss for Jack Flaherty, who has not been great. And here's how the lineup worked. This is actually the other lineup. So Thompson got to bat leadoff. Rosario pinch ran, so he didn't actually play at the plate at all. But Thompson did get 2 hits and 3 walks in that game. My goodness. Nolan Jones, 3 hits and an RBI. Tovar, again, no hits. Cohen got 2 with 2 RBIs and drew a walk. Fernandez, no hits, but drew a walk. Verdugo, no hits, drew a walk. And Rogers with a hit. Jordan Beck, also 2 hits. So Tovar currently struggling in the 3 spot. We'll keep an eye on it. I weirdly feel like we've played against the Mets a lot in this series, but I want to play against them again here because it is the debut, at least this season, of Satchel Paige. Welcome everybody to Coors Field, where 2 struggling baseball teams will face off in a battle for the bottom. The Mets not looking great this year, maybe even a little worse than the Rockies. 43-68 to the Rockies 48-64. The Mets, of course, drafted a right fielder last draft named Tommy Metzger, and he's been playing for them all season. He's a guy that I really liked and I probably would have taken with my next pick, but we ended up with the generational Barry Cohen, so I'd say we got the better end of the deal. Satchel Paige on the mound today. Made his debut with the Rockies last season, but we sent him back down. Ben at AAA this year hasn't been the best we've ever seen, but had a pretty decent FIP and not bad ERA and WHIP. Satchel Paige is a C potential starter, and he's roughly at his peak as it sits right now, as that is ball 1. That is crazy. So there's not much more growth for Paige, who is 26. There's a strike, but could be a decent rotational piece. Who knows? Maybe his potential will go up as Nolan Jones struggles with this one. It gets through him, and that's going to be a leadoff double for Jeff McNeil because of that. And there's the man I was talking about, Tommy Metzger. If we look at his numbers right now, I actually don't think he's all that ready to be an MLB player. He hasn't been great this season, though 222, 292 isn't the worst. A little low on contact. He wasn't a big power guy. He's got the vision and the discipline, and he's a meh fielder. I personally would probably have him down at AAA right now, but the Mets were so bad in the outfield that they really had no choice but to play him. I believe he has like 94 potential. He's going to be a really good player. He's just not there yet. I was hoping I could take Cohen last season and then get Metzger with my next pick, as for some reason I tried to throw that to second as though it was a double play. But he went to the Mets at like 17. And I missed out on Eric Iwamura, a pitcher that went to the Cubs for similar reasons. But we picked third, and the first 2 teams passed on our boy Barry Cohen. So we decided to take him, and I think we made the right decision. Beck cannot throw out McNeil at third, and Lindor has runners on the corners to start the day for the Mets. Now we face Brandon Nimmo. Can Paige get out of this one? That has popped very high into the air. Fernandez going to be underneath it, and the runner will not take off for home, as he actually had to go back to the third base bag, and that's 2 gone. This is the thing about Paige. He allows contact, and I don't think that's super well suited to Coors Field. I don't necessarily see Paige as a long-term starter for the Rockies, but he's nice to have right now, and he's only 26 as we get out of the top part of the first. Bit of a scary situation for Paige, but he gets it done. The Rockies will face off against David Peterson, who has a 1.67 whip, a 5.8 ERA. He has struggled this year. Maybe this offseason we look to trade Satchel Paige. I don't think he's a Rockies pitcher, but he's nice to have, and he's never going to be that good. I don't know. We're kind of in a weird spot with Satchel Paige, that's for sure. Here's Nolan Jones batting second. Ahmed Rosario first pitch swinging. Same with Nolan Jones. 2 pitches, 2 outs. That's not great. All right, we're looking at the first pitch no matter what with Ezequiel Tovar here. Make David Peterson throw more pitches. Man, I wish I hadn't looked at that. Tovar's 54 RBIs, only good for second on the Rockies now. I think Nolan Jones has overtaken him, perhaps even Yanquiel Fernandez as well. Swing and a miss on the high heat. Tovar goes down swinging, And Peterson did not have to throw a lot of pitches. Page will face Drew Gilbert to start the second. That was a wonky slider. He only has 51 breaks, so his pitches don't move a lot. He doesn't throw super hard. He's a weird pitcher, man. Like, there was a Satchel Paige that played way back in the day that was a Hall of Famer and is sometimes referred to as one of the best pitchers of all time. This Satchel Paige is not that Satchel Paige. This Satchel Paige is a rotational pitcher at the bottom of your rotation that maybe converts to a reliever someday. And he pitches to contact. I don't know. He's kind of a weird specimen, Satchel Paige, as he walks Drew Gilbert. This one is hit fairly deep to left. I don't think Jordan Beck is getting there. He's not. And this is going to break the 0-0 stalemate as they'll get a run scored. Kyle Farmer to left field. Got it past Jordan Beck, and that's a run scored for the Mets. Also a 10-game hitting streak now for Kyle Farmer. This one is deep to left. It's hooking foul. Beck is underneath it, and the runner holds at second, not wanting to test the arm of Jordan Beck. Not that it's that great, but that throw just wasn't very deep. Ball 4. That is a 4-pitch walk. Page having issues with control right now. Brings us back to Jeff McNeil already, still only the second. This one from McNeil looking very similar to the one that batted home the first run, but hooks foul. And that is a hanging slider that's going to get to the wall in right field. It's going to score at least one more run, probably a second as well. Runner's taking off for third. He's going to be gunned down. That's a safe call? Oh my God. Wait, can we overturn that? That throw beat him by a mile. Was the slide that good? Either way, it's 2 more runs scored for the Mets. And a bad start for Satchel Paige. So there's the tag. I mean, it looks out to me. Did he not tag him? Oh, the tag was never applied by Sterling Thompson. So McNeil safe with a triple because Thompson forgot you had to touch him with the glove. Well, this could be going better for Satchel Paige, that's for sure. This is a little blooper into left, and that's going to get down for a base hit for Tommy Metzger. And now it's 4-0. New York. Grounder gets through Barry Cohen. What is Nolan Jones doing? He just ran past the ball. That's going to score another run for the Mets, and it's going to be ruled another triple, I think. Is there a button I need to press to field the ball? What is the AI doing? Nolan Jones just chooses to not pick up the baseball. Was my pathing weird? I don't know. That was very strange. Never seen that happen before. Now it's 5-0 Mets on a play that's not really Satchel Paige's fault. This one deep to center. It's definitely going to score a 6th run for the Mets. And Fernandez makes the grab. Maybe we get to quick simming. We just get through this game quickly because it is ugly. Finally, we're out of the inning. Satchel Paige gives up 6 in the second. I am going to start quick managing. If the Rockies get back into this game through the sim, we'll hop back in. Otherwise, we'll probably just go play a different one. 2-run shot for Francisco Mejia. Well, there you go. We're back within 4. A double for Sterling Thompson. A 2-out rally going for the Rockies. Can Jordan Beck keep it going? He does. A single scores another run. And now it's 6-3. And then a strikeout. I'm going to let Page continue, even though he's allowed 6. Ground out, a walk, and then a fielder's choice. Nolan Jones walks. Tovar singles. 2 on, nobody out for Barry Cohen. He grounds into a double play. Brendan Rodgers batting 5th with a man on 3rd. He singles and scores Nolan Jones. Now it's 6-4 suddenly. Satchel Paige will continue. Gave up a single to Metzger. Metzger steals a single from Lindor. I'm going to let him face one more batter, maybe. Let's see what Nimmo does. That's a walk. We have to do a pitching change. Page has been awful today. We'll bring in Kyle Freeland to take over for Satchel Paige. Ground out. So now there's 2 outs with runners in scoring position. And another ground out, so only the 1 run given up. The Satchel Paige goes 3 1/3, giving up 7 runs. Not a good outing from Paige. Mejia leads off the 4th with a single. Thompson, who is red hot right now, gets a single of his own. Jordan Beck singles, that scores a run. It's 7-5, nobody out, runners on 1st and 2nd. Rosario walks, and now it's bases loaded for the best player on the team. It's Nolan Jones coming to the plate in the bottom of the 4th. It's still David Peterson on the mound. Nolan Jones hits one fairly deep to left, but it's going to fall just foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Nolan Jones facing David Peterson. There's ball number 3, counts full. A grand slam here would be peak Rockies. But Nolan will walk a run home. It's going to be 7-6. The Mets still in the lead, but the bases are still loaded with nobody out. Peterson might be done for the day. And he is. It'll be Drew Smith taking over. And the first man he faces is one of the top RBI guys on the team. It's Ezequiel Tovar. Bottom of the 4th, bases loaded, no outs. And Tovar is going to hit a grand slam to left. He got a piece of one and he sends it deep. And the Rockies have blown this game wide open. Ezequiel Tovar, batting 7th, 8th, 6th all season, moves up to 3, and it pays off in a big way here in Colorado. Barry Cohen has to follow up a grand slam. Still no outs. Cohen gets one to hit, pops it way up though, and finally, the Mets have their first out here in the 4th. Well, I started simming thinking we'd just get out of this game quickly, but man, oh man, the Rockies bats got hot. Rogers only batting a .209 against right-handers this season. Maybe we need to consider having him not play against right-handers. Maybe having Ahmed Rosario play in second instead of him against righties. Counts full for Brendan Rodgers. Yanquiel Fernandez on deck, and Rodgers will walk. The inning continues. Another base runner for the Rockies. Fernandez grounds one into the gap between 1st and 2nd. And that's now 2 runners on with still only 1 out in the inning. Now it's Francisco Mejia batting 7th. Demoted way down the order. He'd been batting like 1st or 2nd a lot of the season. Wow, what a whiff on the circle change. He's worked the count back full, and the hottest bat on the team is up next. Sterling Thompson. And Mejia swings and misses on a very close pitch. Probably would have been called a ball with this umpire. That's 2 outs. Timing was good. He just missed the contact. But now it's Sterling Thompson. He, of course, is red hot. By the way, I think after this game, I'm going to change Sterling Thompson and Yanquiel Fernandez's numbers. 60 and 82 are very ugly. I've got some comments about it. It's not the numbers they're wearing at AA right now, so I'm just going to set their current real-life AA numbers to their preferred numbers and see what that comes up with. The preferred number for Sterling Thompson is going to be 7, which, of course, Rodgers wears, but he might pick something else instead that'll look good. You know what else looks good on Sterling Thompson? A base hit. This is going to be a double at minimum, and it'll score 1 run for the Rockies. We hold up the guy at 3rd, and now it's 7-11. And is there anyone in baseball hotter than Sterling Thompson right now? I think he's 3 for 3 for us on the day. Speaking of red hot, Jordan Beck 2 for 2 on the day, playing well. This is a pop-up for Beck. Will it drop? It was in the very shallow part of center field. It does not. Out number 3. And the Rockies tack on how many runs in that inning? 7 runs for the Rockies in just the 4th inning. It's a very high-scoring game for the Rockies. Also, I've noticed Kyle Freeland, for some reason, wearing 23 now instead of his normal 21. Looks like Ahmed Rosario stole 21. I don't know what's up with the numbers in this game. They get mixed up all the time. But I'll set Freeland back to 21. Rosario will change his number. Maybe the problem isn't the Rockies. The problem is me. It seems like whenever I play as them, nothing works. That is a solo shot for Kyle Farmer. Kyle Freeland, Kyle the Kyle, just leaves a hanging sinker, and it is just absolutely mashed into left field. I was just saying, maybe the problem is me. It looks like that might actually be true. Weird little chopper onto Thompson at third, and there's the first out. But now it's 8-11 after the solo shot. Grounder back up the middle, and that is a base hit for the Mets. Fernandez fields it in center. A runner on, only one out. Kyle Freeland not playing his best at the moment. Grounder onto Barry Cohen. His throws have been much better recently, and that's a double play for the Rockies. So Farmer gets one back, but the Mets still down by 3. Fast forward to the top of the 6th now. We've still got Freeland in. I'm hoping he can eat up a good chunk of these innings for us. There's a grounder onto Sterling Thompson. That'll be the first out in the 6th. Freeland struggling with his location. 3-1 count to Lindor. That's a swing. Perfect sinker from Kyle Freeland, and Lindor goes down looking. Brandon Nimmo cracks one into Nolan Jones in right. I swear, if Barry Cohen would just get on base when it's hitting to right, we could get some putouts from Nolan Jones. Some assists, rather. That was a hanging curveball. That's a grounder into left for Jordan Beck. We're not out of this inning just yet. The tying run is now coming to the plate. That's a grounder weirdly up the middle. Can Tovar make the play in time? Safe is the call at first. Very slow back up the middle. A difficult play for Ezequiel Tovar. Now the bases are loaded with 2 gone. And it's Kyle Farmer, a guy who has been dangerous already today. And he'll crack this at Brendan Rodgers, who lets it through, and that's probably going to tie the game up. Fernandez gets it back in, but not in time, and now we're knotted at 11. Kyle Freeland, come on, my man. I do feel like Brendan Rodgers should have been able to make that play, but it's not his fault that there's such good contact on just about every hit. As Freeland leaves a hanging sinker again, but this one should get us out of the inning. Nolan Jones into foul territory, but it's 11-11 after the top of the 6th. No run support from the Rockies in the bottom of the 6th, so now we're in the top of the 7th, and Peter Lambert will come in. And immediately gives up a solo shot to Rowdy Jordan. Why do I bother with my bullpen? The Rockies take the lead back and then give it back up. 12-11 for the Mets. Peter Lambert has thrown, what was that, his second pitch? And given up a run. The pitch release says good in the bottom left, but that's not even remotely where I wanted that pitch. So how much does that pitch release thing even matter? Like, I've been trying to time it up, but I swear my pitchers are playing worse. And that is going to be to left field. Another base hit, this time for Jeff McNeil. What is up with the pitching today? First Satchel Paige, then Kyle Freeland, now Peter Lambert. Grounder to Sterling Thompson, could be 2. To Rodgers to Cohen, and it is 2. Double play for the Rockies. A little bittersweet as the lead is already gone, but a good play from Sterling Thompson, an awkward throw onto Brendan Rodgers. Again, pitch release good on that pitch, and look at where that circle change was. Like, basically dead center of the zone. You guys think I was aiming for there? I was not. I was aiming for it to hopefully drop out of the zone, as this is flied to right, and Nolan Jones underneath it. Ends the top part of the 7th, and now the Rockies bats need to get going once again. We'll start with Sterling Thompson, who's 3 for 3, 2 doubles, a single, an RBI, up to a .282 average on the year. He is crushing it. Thompson's worked the count full. The 3-2 pitch from Austin Adams on its way, and Thompson gonna get another base hit, probably at least another double. Maybe he can extend this to a triple. Do we give it a try? Sterling Thompson headed to third. We need it to be a bad throw. He's safe at third. A triple for Sterling Thompson. Only a home run away from the cycle. Is there a batter hotter than Sterling Thompson right now? My goodness. What a way to start a leadoff triple. Jordan Beck just needs to hit one into play, and it'll be a run scored for the Rockies, and we'll be tied back up. 2-2 count for Jordan Beck. The pitch coming from Austin Adams. is a strike that I look at. He changed the eye level with a couple high fastballs. I was not ready for an outside one. Ahmed Rosario, maybe he can do a little bit better. He looks at ball one. Ahmed Rosario has a 3-1 count. He's got Nolan Jones on deck. Grounds this to short and out at first, but it does score the runner from third, Sterling Thompson. We're tied up again at 12. Nolan Jones gonna break up the tie. High and deep to right, it's in the bullpen, and the Rockies retake the lead off of a Nolan Jones solo shot. 21st home run on the season, 407 feet. He says, "We'll see you later" to the baseball, and the Rockies have the lead again. This has been a roller coaster of a baseball game. Ezequiel Tovar will get a base hit, it looks like. The throw not even coming. And it's 13-12 still. And a 2-out rally maybe coming for the Rockies. Ezequiel Tovar keeps it going. Brings up the rookie, Barry Cohen. Oh, man, that looked like a meatball for a split second. Easy play on the fielder's choice. And we'll head to the 8th inning, but the Rockies have the lead one more time. We're going to bring in Caleb Ferguson to try to set up Jalen Beeks. They've been our two best relievers this year. Hopefully that continues. Ferguson is going to get an out on the very first pitch he throws. Fernandez gets it done. Got him to swing and miss on a sweeper that was way inside. That's 2 gone in the 8th. 3-1 count to Drew Gilbert. Ferguson comes back with a strike. And a grounder to Sterling Thompson should end the inning, and it does. Top part of the 8th done. Can the Rockies bats get any more runs before we bring in Jalen Beeks? Beeks not quite as good as Ferguson on the year, but has still been decent. In fact, he's been better against righties than against lefties this season. Kyle Farmer, though, is a scary man to face. And this ump just gives you no close calls. Pitch number 2 and number 4 probably both should have been strikes, and he's just not giving the call. So it's 3-1 to Kyle Farmer. Beeks gets a swing and a miss. Makes the count full. We've thrown a ton of heaters. We're going off speed. Jalen Beeks, swing and a miss. Fights back in the at-bat. And Kyle Farmer goes down. Kevin Parada, the next victim for Jalen Beeks. Swing and a miss on the circle change. He wasn't even close. And now that we've got him thinking low in the zone, we go back high, and he pops it up. Foul. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Beeks throws the circle change, and he gets it to Nolan Jones in right. And if only Cohen were standing on first. I think Jones could throw some people out at first. I really do. But they've got a base runner. Now it's Rowdy Jordan, who crushed a homer a little bit ago to tie the game up. 2-1 count to Rowdy. Swing and a miss on the circle change. And a swing and a miss on the heater. 97 miles per hour. Down goes Rowdy Jordan, and there's 1 out left. McNeil was way off balance on that first pitch. It was a slider that wasn't even close in the zone. He's going to ground this to Brendan Rodgers, who makes the play at first. And the Rockies win a crazy game against the Mets. I think Peter Lambert will get credit with the victory. But man, oh man, what a wild game. We immediately go down 6-0, make it 11-7 at some point. Then it's tied up at 11. Then we lose the lead 12-11. And then we take it back. And the Rockies end up winning 13-12. Player of the game is Sterling Thompson. Very deserved. He was a home run away from the cycle. 4 for 4 on the day. A triple, 2 doubles, an RBI. A single. He scored 3 times. He's a big part of why we won today. Here's the total box score for the Rockies. The only guys who didn't get a hit were Rosario and Cohen, but Rosario did draw 1 walk. Thompson with 4 hits. He is up to a 284 average, which I believe is best on the team. Tovar with 3 hits, 4 RBIs, batting in that 3 spot. Nolan Jones walked twice. It really worked out beautifully. Jones is getting walks. Tovar is batting him in. That game is precisely what I want this lineup to be able to do. I will say the pitching was really bad from the first two guys. Page, 7 earned runs through 3 1/3, 18.9 ERA to start. Kyle Freeland, 4 earned runs in only 2 2/3. Peter Lambert came in, gave up a run in his inning, but then Ferguson and Beeks shut it down. Basically, I just need to use only Caleb Ferguson and Jalen Beeks every single time I bring a reliever in, and we'll be fine. So after the wild game against the Mets, can the Rockies win the series? They can. Off of a pretty good Mike Soroka performance. They completely changed up the batting order for this game. Cohen batted 3rd, Rogers 4th, Verdugo 2nd. I mean, it kind of worked. Brendan Rodgers had 5 RBIs. And finally, can they win the last game? They cannot, dropping 1-2 against the Mets in game number 3. But the Rockies up to 50 wins on the season. That was another start for Oviedo, by the way, and it was a pretty good one. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, only 1 earned run, and 4 hits allowed. Caleb Ferguson came in, had 2 good innings, and Kyle Freeland actually is the one who ended up with the loss, despite the run he gave up not being earned. Oh, that's because it was extra innings. Gotcha. Got a series here against Milwaukee, and now Tolia can be reinstated from the injured list, but they will still be injured for a day or 2. We win a game versus the Brewers, and then Brenton Doyle got injured at AA, a flexor strain. He'll be out for a few days. We'll keep him active. Tolia no longer injured. We'll auto-utilize him. Can we win against the Brewers? No. Zach Veen is eligible to be reinstated, but will be out for 4 to 5 more months. Well, let's activate him. Nah, we're keeping him on the 60-day, of course. Another loss for Satchel Paige. Gave up 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Goodness gracious. These guys go from pitching so well in AAA to being absolute buns at the MLB. Dolander was the same way, and now it's Paige as well. 2 starts, 2 really bad starts. The Reds beat the Rockies, and now Doyle no longer injured. And are we going to get swept by the Reds? Maybe. It's kind of looking like it. Only 2 runs scored so far in the series. Final game against the Reds, and we win 11-5. So there's the offensive explosion very suddenly. What was the point of me setting my lineup if the CPU is just gonna change it every single time? I know that it's happening because they're giving guys rest days, but it's still a little frustrating. Nolan Jones with 4 hits, 3 RBIs. He's batting .290 now. Sterling Thompson looks like he might be coming back down to earth, but he is still batting at .284. Nolan Jones must be absolutely red hot currently. We'll sim this game against the Pirates, see how Satchel Paige does in another outing. Corey Joyce is injured. It's another loss for Satchel Paige, and his ERA climbs again. 3.1 innings pitched, 6 runs allowed, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Satchel Paige, my man. Loizaga and Ferguson came in and pitched some good innings, and Cody Hoyer had a good inning. Hoyer yet to give up an earned run at the MLB, by the way. He hasn't pitched a lot, though. I feel like I don't really have much of a choice here. Paige has gotten 3 starts, and he's just continuing to get worse. He has a 2.91 whip with a 14 ERA, a negative .3 WAR, and a 7.5 FIP. We got to send him back down, unfortunately. We will send him to AAA, and who should we bring up? Should we bring Dolander back up? Do we have it be Quinn Priester? Quinn Priester is kind of cold right now at AAA, but he's got decent stats, a 3.6 ERA, a 1.29 whip. How many debuts are we going to have this season, huh? Is Quinn Priester ready? If we look at these attributes, I'm not certain. I sort of think maybe it should just be Ryan Feltner to hold us off for the rest of the year, because I'm not really worried about how he plays. His AAA stats aren't the best, but they're decent. I mean, a 3.5 ERA is pretty good. The 1.36 whip is right around average. Let's bring up Ryan Feltner, and I think he is just kind of going to temporarily hold us over. And then I think sometime soon I'll probably release Freeland. He's regressing. He's just going to cost us more money next season if I don't release him this season. It's just about his time. But anyways, I think that's actually going to do it for this episode. I know it's a little bit of a shorter one, probably just based on the amount of time I've been recording, but in the next next episode, I want to play this game against the Pirates, see what Paul Skeens is all about in MLB The Show. And then I think we'll play this game with Ryan Feltner against the Oakland A's. So the next episode will be a little bit longer, include a little bit more gameplay. And then we'll sim through probably about halfway through September. And then the following episode will be the end of the season. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and for the continued support. I'm sorry that the Rockies suck so bad in real life and in the game, but soon that won't be the case. The Rockies in the game at the very least are going to be good, and soon, I hope. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode where we'll face off against the Pirates and then probably the A's.